Hi everyone, Black Flag Media Studio. Freedom. Always freedom. So we thought today we would talk about the Palestinian protests. And I know that's a bit of a hot potato, a hotbed. And so we just thought, I thought anyway, we'd start with on, what day was it that we were, a couple of days ago.
It was Monday night.
Monday night. So Monday night I went down and I was I planned to meet Derek, but I got there early. So I got down to Yorkville where we'd heard that Chrystia Freeland and Yara Sachs were having a victory.
Yeah, victory for what?
Cocktail.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they were having a victory about, but they were having some victory cocktail reception down in Yorkville. So I thought, well, I'm going to go down. I brought my Black Flag Media card, and I thought, well, I'd ask her kind of a girl question, like we're in Yorkville and, in this Japanese restaurant, and I thought I just might ask her something about her $6,000 a month personal grooming expense, and then maybe I'd avoid those places because I don't have $6,000 a month. But anyway, that didn't really happen. So I was sitting in the front of the restaurant and facing Yorkville Avenue and waiting for Derek, and then I noticed some Palestinians started showing up. I'm like, okay, that's fine, and I'm totally for protest. Like we do need to maintain that right to protest. So they were gathering in front, and I took a few pictures, and there was an RCMP I noticed, at the table beforehand, which of course he'd be there because there's MPs in the restaurant. So on that, there was no trouble there. Then I saw a senator come in, and we got chatting, and I talked to him about Bill C-63, which he seemed to not know anything about. He didn't seem to. So
yeah, you were telling me that story. How could he not know? Yeah.
I don't know. He said he's a pretty new senator, but still, Bill C-63. So I talked about that and my concerns about it. And that was a nice little chat. And then as I'm just, sitting there waiting for Derek, more Palestinian protesters show up, and they're right there at the window, and then police come into the restaurant, and I'm asked to move from that front table to the back for my protection, or for the police to have room, which I understood. And so I went and sat a little further, but I was walking back. Try and go outside to see if I could find Derek and bring him in.
Yeah.
Because they all knew I was waiting for, someone to join me, and I tried to get outside and I couldn't get out. The Palestinian protesters were locked arm in arm, and they wouldn't let me out.
No.
Not at all. But one of the police tried to help me, and I said, you know what, I'm going to stay in, because I said I'd left my bag and my coat and everything. So I stayed in and stayed a little longer and had a little chat with a woman in there. We were talking about the $6,000, because I said, I was going to ask Chrissy about her $6,000 a month grooming. And we were like, if we had $6,000 a month, hey, ladies and gentlemen, if you had $6,000 a month grooming, I think we'd be dressed really well.
Well, she'd look a lot different than she
did. We would look really good, I think.
That also includes a gym membership, which I don't think she's using.
So, we kind of had a laugh, and she was telling me about, hey, if you're listening, it was really nice to meet you. And because she did become a subscriber, so welcome to the Black Flag Media Studio. Mm-hmm. And that it was kind of fun, and she had her kind of older teenage kids with her who were a little bit, taken aback by it, but she was kind of happy for them to see the realities of this Trudeau government, that this is what our world is becoming. And so, we had a nice chat about that, and then I decided, okay, it's time for me to leave. And I got all my stuff and I went out, and I could barely get out the door. And the police officers that were there said, okay, we'll escort you out, not knowing who I was or anything, but they were going to escort me out. So they did, and one of the police officers was in front of me. He said, if you want, you can hold on to the back of me, to stay close. So I did, and then he just he put his arm back and he grabbed my hand, and we were just kind of holding hands, like he was like pulling me along. And once I got past everybody, I was out in public, and they were yelling shame at me, but that was I was okay with that. But and then I found Derek and a few other of our colleagues, and so we just stood and watched it.
Yeah, I know.
And you were live streaming.
I live streamed the whole thing. I think there's probably about 80, 85, maybe even less. I would say maybe.
There wasn't much. I'm going to post the
50.
pictures I took, and you'll see, and you can kind of get an idea. There might have been, 100 at the most, I think. I don't even
It was a small place too, so you got to remember the numbers there.
Yeah. So that was a big crowd, and I don't know, like, we've talked about this and about the whole Palestinian protesting, and of course they have a right to, and then there's reason to, and all of that. But my concern is the same as the concern I had with the LGBT crowd, is that I believe, and again, this is just conjecture on my part, but that they've been infiltrated by whatever forces, and I just call it Antifa.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that there's other.
Well, several left groups. I mean, on some of the rallies, and I've gone to a lot of them, and let me first of all say, protests. They're able to protest differently than we were. They have every right to protest. I meant the Palestinian plight. Like I've always said, everybody deserves the right to self-determination, and they do, and they should. And I understand what they're going for. It's horrendous what's happening, especially bombing of the camps and it's horrible. But like you'd mentioned, the infiltration group. So I've seen the Trans Army. I've seen Communist Revolution in there. So basically, all the leftist groups are in there. Now they say they're supporting Palestine, but yet are they using this as a means for their agenda? And that's
my biggest concern.
That might be the concern.
Yeah.
But I always, you look how we protest. We use signs. Like we're protesting, but we're actually more protesting for people to come talk to us, right? Yeah. Although they're in there. But what happens if Palestinians did things silently with all the pictures of all the destruction going on in Gaza? Just stood there in front. Would that have a different message? I think that may have way different message.
They would have a
way
different message, but I think unfortunately they've been so infiltrated and used by these Antifa forces, and now they become a violence of sorts. Going to synagogues and things. This is not something that we as protesters would ever do. And, we maintain a very peaceful and lawful position always. And when police tell us to move off steps, we move off steps. Or not even the police, but if a store owner, a hotel, and then say, you have to leave the private property, we do. Mm-hmm. We may argue a little bit, but we do. And so we do maintain a peaceful protest always. And so I suggest to anybody in the freedom movement that to always maintain a peaceful stance when protesting. It is our right, and we have to hold. That's a line I want to hold very strongly. So then, this is kind of going back. We were at the Royal York Hotel protesting Trudeau, not the Prime Minister of Italy or anything. We were just protesting Trudeau and the Liberal Party, the government, but very peacefully, to the point that we had a conversation with one of the RCMP guys and the police, and just sort of jokingly, in a way, like enjoying ourselves, saying, okay, we're done here. And because it looks like this is not, they're going to stay in the hotel, and so we're probably gonna go up to the AGO because we've heard there's Palestinian protesters up there, and so we thought, well, we'll go and check it out. And I'm going to put a a bit of video that I'd taken as soon as we arrived, and I was quite shocked that they had police on horses. Wow. I don't see this too often in Toronto, do you? Are you guys standing here so we can't get past?
Yeah, just the road's closed this way. So
Oh, okay.
no problem.
12 mounted units.
Yeah, and then lots of like whatever you call them, troops, but lots of men people on the street, and bikes and police for really whatever 200 maybe protesters.
Well, we got there a little after it had started.
Oh right.
And I
we
think
were there
the group dissipated a little bit when they saw the amount of police that were there. But when we did get there, there's, I would say, about 80.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So so we kind of hung around and watched, and I took a little bit of film. I don't know what you did, but we took some pictures and stuff. But just let the thing go on. But our point, I guess, there's lots of points, but one of them being that the question of why are the police being directed to not do too much? They're not asking them to move off the steps.
No.
And why would they allow this fairly small group of protesters, when you're talking about 100 or 200, that's relatively small, that they could easily contain? Really, this is a high-level police force. They could do it. But why are they being directed to basically keep their hands off of them? Keep the peace,
Well, yeah, there's a bunch of reports today in Toronto, all officers off the record, which were saying it's really political, that they were saying that don't arrest them,
right?
Don't escalate.
And we know it's a political hot potato for sure, but there's just something odd going on. I don't know what that might be. But they're letting them, to the point that they allowed to let basically a state dinner to be canceled.
Sure,
That's
of course.
pretty big.
That is big.
So
I mean, they cancel it. They got it canceled.
But yes, we were there.
Yeah.
But we were just kind of observers, and we just kind of watched and did our report about it. And this is our report.
Yeah. I kind of give their hats off too, that they found out about that dinner there. I thought that they kept that pretty much undercovered, but they did find out about it. So hats off to them knowing
Well, they
knowing
got
to find
somebody on the inside, I guess.
Yeah. So
but
because right now, like Trudeau's itinerary is somewhat vague. They have alternative plans on the day.
Yeah.
Like they always have two plans for one day. So.
And the reason why we do what we do, maybe there's a few reasons, but when we're tyrant patrolling, which is what we call it, when we're protesting Trudeau or any of the MPs, we do very peacefully with big banners and stuff are obvious, but is one of the reasons is to let them know that as Canadians we are to the point of we're so unhappy with their governance that we're out there on the street, and we really don't want them to be able to freely just kind of move around in Canada without them knowing that we're unhappy.
Oh yeah. Well, look at the amount of criminal activity. Let's just put it that way. That it's slowly coming down that they did.
Yeah, we're talking about scandals like
scandals.
SNC
The amount of money that's
arrived scam.
That's been stolen on numerous things. Like anyone else would be arrested, and without bail. But yet these guys are still running around.
Yeah.
Cocktail parties here, this and this,
Yeah.
and still in power. So, that's why I go to every single one of them. I go.
Yeah, we have
we
to.
know, We're
No.
not letting you.
We're not
Not letting you
getting
carry
away
on
with
regularly
this. Yeah.
with this.
Yeah, you can, this isn't just a walk in the park, you guys.
No.
And you can't just get away with it. You know, just as a little off topic, but I just heard, I guess yesterday, that of course we know Bernardo got into medium security. Now we know Luca
Magnotta,
is into medium. And they're in the same place. And there's a third one, and I can't remember his
Yeah,
name.
that colonel, I forget that Air Force
No,
colonel.
not even him. There's another guy.
Oh,
But
yes.
Anyway, maybe somebody
well,
knows.
the Tory Stafford killers.
Yeah,
Yeah, from
right.
Woodstock.
Yeah. And they're all in medium security.
Yeah.
You know, so this government and
It's
this
just
bill
for us.
C-63 that we've talked about before, and likely we will talk about again. And again, in this one, I'm going to link so that you guys can look at the bill directly. I'll link it to Rebel News because I do think Ezra did a good job of breaking down the important, like the scary stuff. So I'll put that in the description so you guys can have a look at that.
You have to read it. Take
But,
it
yeah.
everywhere. Leave it in coffee
Yeah,
shops,
Bill
everywhere.
C-63.
Just let people.
I actually been thinking I'm gonna get like postcards that say, you know, that symbol, which I'll put at the end of this video, the circle with the line across it,
Yeah.
C-63, and mail them over, which you can do for free. Mail them to MPs and especially Arif Virani. You deserve one.
Oh yeah.
You know, he's, like I said to to David Menzies, I think Arif Virani's dangerous.
He very is.
I do.
And
he's
that
our
I told you
justice
before.
minister.
I Rebel left that out of the clip, but I'm glad we had the live on it. But it
Yeah.
is. I mean, he's dangerous.
He's dangerous,
I mean-
and this bill is dangerous.
What the stuff you like about the Freedom Convoy to get the Emergency Act put in?
Yeah.
Then he's hasn't said a word about anything with the Palestinian protests.
No.
So it is that he is in favor of the Palestinian plight. He's one of
It
the
would
ministers.
seem.
Yeah, but you can't have two sides of justice.
No. So yeah, Canada has definitely turned a corner that is scary,
Very scary.
very scary, and we don't want it.
No.
So yeah, just do your best to get this out if you want to, but do your best to get to people and talk to them about this. Talk to them about C-63. Oh, hey, I just wanted to say if the young man from the source who helped me buy this new
tell
phone,
him.
and
Thank you.
I asked him to subscribe. So if you're listening, thank you very much. And I talked to him about Bill C-63. He didn't, of course, know anything about it. And but we got to get people to know something about this. So when it does come, you know, like they hear about it somewhere, they kind of know what we're talking about. But we have to tell our MPs, do not vote for this. Don't you even dare think about voting for this. And Arif Virani, you're going to get a postcard from me.
Well, hopefully we have an opportunity to meet him out somewhere
Well, yeah, we will.
and to talk.
Well, I think his office is fairly close to
His
us here.
office is
you
here in
know,
Toronto?
we may just do a little tyrant patrolling up there.
I think so. I think
it's
next week is a
time.
good week for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Freedom, everybody.
Especially when they're not sitting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly.
Next
Yeah,
week,
we're
yeah.
going to go. All right, we'll see you there, and we'll see you next time. I'm going to try and go live on Sunday. I'm not even going to tell you where, but I'm going to go live on this YouTube channel, and Derek will be with me.
Big event on Sunday.
Yeah, big event. And,
Well, anytime shortly after 6. So the event starts at 6. So
Oh, does
maybe,
it?
yeah, maybe you
I thought
do
it
it.
started in the afternoon,
No,
1.
1 o'clock, sir.
1 o'clock. Yeah.
1 o'clock, but definitely be done by
Yeah,
6. So
in
1
the
o'clock.
afternoon, we're going to go live and show you a little bit of what we discover on Sunday. Okay, cool, everybody.
Freedom.